People, what is the worst experience in customer service you ever had? 1. The room full of blood. I worked the night shift at a cheap motel. A guest complained about a weird smell coming from the room next to hers. I went up to check and found the door slightly ajar. Inside, the carpet was soaked, dark, sticky, unmistakably blood. No one in the bed. No body. Just a puddle leading to the bathroom, which was bone dry and empty. I called the cops. They taped it off, and I never saw or heard anything else about it again. The guest never checked out. His ID. Fake. 2. Screams in the back room. During a quiet shift at a retail store, a customer screamed from the changing rooms. We rushed in. She was pale, shaking, saying someone had whispered in her ear. But no one else was in there. Security cameras showed her entering alone, but not alone inside. A shadow followed her in. The footage glitched right before the scream. 3. The girl in the freezer. I worked at a fast food joint, and one night the walk-in freezer wouldn't close. Maintenance came and found the blockage, an old doll, with a name tag from the 90s that matched a girl who died during a fire decades ago. She'd worked here. None of us could explain how it got there. I quit the next day. 4. Help me on the receipt. A guy ordered coffee like usual, nothing weird. But when the receipt printed, under his name, it said, "Help me. She's watching." No one typed that in. I checked the system logs, no override. The man looked calm, gave me a stiff smile, and left. The woman with him didn't blink once. 5. The howling in the drive-thru. It was 3 a.m. and a car came through the drive-thru. The driver wouldn't lower the window, just stared. I heard scratching from the back seat, then loud, guttural howling. Not human. Then silence. When I came back to the window, the car was gone. No tire marks, nothing on camera. 6. The tooth lady. A woman came in for a refund, said her sandwich had teeth in it. We thought she was joking, until she showed me a tiny human molar. We checked our meat supplier. Everything checked out. 2 days later, she came back with another tooth. This time, still bleeding. And no one else had ordered that sandwich type all day. 7. The locked restroom. A customer complained that the bathroom was locked. We checked the key log, no one had gone in. Maintenance opened it and found all the mirrors shattered, writing on the walls in what looked like lipstick, "He's watching." Security footage showed no one entering, or leaving. 8. Eyes under the table. A child screamed mid-meal at our family restaurant. Said someone was watching her from under the table. We looked, nothing. Later, I reviewed the security footage. For one split second, 2 eyes blinked under the table. Not a reflection. Not a trick of light. 9. The breathing mannequin. We used mannequins in our clothing store. One of them was always moved slightly at closing. One night, I touched its chest, and it was warm. It was breathing. Next morning, it was back in the window, cold as ever. I never worked late again. 10. Not her voice. A regular called in an order. Her voice sounded wrong. Like auto-tuned and echoing. She picked up her food and smiled. But later that night, she called back, furious, said she hadn't placed an order at all. She'd been out of town. 11. The hidden camera in my hotel room. I checked into a boutique hotel for a business trip. Everything seemed fine until I noticed a blinking red light behind a vent. I got closer and realized there was a hidden camera pointed directly at the bed. I called the front desk, and they pretended not to know anything. I took photos, checked out immediately, and called the police. Turns out, the hotel owner had been secretly filming guests for months and selling the footage online. I still feel sick thinking I might be on some website I never agreed to be on. 12. They mixed up my order with dog food. I ordered a high-end steak dinner from a delivery app. When it arrived, the packaging looked off, and when I opened it, it reeked. I thought it was spoiled, but my dog was going crazy trying to eat it. I checked the label. It was literally labeled, Premium Canine Cuisine. They had somehow mixed up my dinner with someone's luxury dog food delivery. When I called customer support, they laughed at me and said, at least someone enjoyed it. 13. The spa therapist who left me bleeding. I booked a massage at a fancy resort spa. The therapist kept using her nails instead of her palms, and I asked her to stop multiple times. She kept saying it was part of the experience. After the session, I found deep red scratches down my back, some even bleeding. When I complained, they accused me of lying and banned me from the spa. I later found reviews from others who had been hurt by the same woman. 14. They lost my grandma's ashes. We had shipped my late grandmother's ashes to be placed in an ocean reef memorial. The company claimed everything was handled with utmost respect. Weeks later, they told us the box was misplaced in their warehouse. When we finally got it back, the container wasn't sealed properly and had opened. The inside of the package was a mess. My family was devastated, and the company offered us a $50 gift card as an apology. 15. The creepy delivery guy who wouldn't leave. I ordered groceries online during the pandemic. When the guy showed up, he was unusually friendly, commenting on everything in my apartment he could see from the door. After I signed, he refused to leave. He asked for my number, then tried to open the door wider with his foot. I slammed it shut and called the store. They said they couldn't fire him because he was the owner's cousin. I had to file a police report. 16. The waiter who called me a slur. At a trendy restaurant, my friends and I waited over an hour for food. When I politely asked for an update, the waiter rolled his eyes and muttered a slur under his breath. I called him out, and he laughed and walked away. The manager didn't believe us, and when I posted about it online, the restaurant accused us of defamation. A week later, they quietly fired him, but never apologized. 17. Nurse took a selfie while I was unconscious. After surgery, I woke up groggy but caught a nurse with her phone pointed at me. She quickly put it away, but later I overheard her showing someone a photo and laughing. When I reported it, they dismissed me, saying I was probably dreaming. Months later, a classmate showed me a TikTok where I was clearly unconscious in a hospital bed. I recognized the nurse. The hospital did nothing. 18. They sent me the wrong baby. After giving birth, I was exhausted and groggy. The nurse brought me a baby for feeding. Something felt off. This baby had a different birthmark than mine. I asked to check the tag, and it didn't match my wristband. My heart stopped. They'd brought me someone else's child. I raised hell. The nurse cried and admitted she'd gotten distracted. I never trusted them again, not for a second. 19. Dentist knocked me out without consent. I came in for a simple cleaning and mentioned my dental anxiety. Next thing I know, I wake up hours later, groggy and confused. They had sedated me, without my explicit permission. They'd done 4 fillings and charged me over $3,000. When I protested, they said I agreed verbally, even though I never signed anything. I reported them to the board, and they lost all their records. 20. They let my dog die. I dropped off my senior dog at a pet hotel while I traveled for work. They assured me he'd be treated like royalty. 2 days later, I got a call that he escaped the yard. I found out they had no fence, just a chain and no supervision. He was hit by a car blocks away. They had lied about everything. I sued, but they closed and reopened under a new name. 21. The restaurant that served me mold. I ordered a pasta dish at a charming Italian place. The first bite tasted strange, so I stirred it around, and found chunks of green mold clinging to the bottom. When I called over the waiter, he shrugged and said it was just seasoning. I demanded a manager, who said that if I didn't like the food, I should go somewhere else. They still charged me for the full meal. I threw up in their bathroom before leaving. 22. The hotel room full of blood. I checked into a hotel for a solo getaway. When I walked in, there were splatters of dried blood on the bathroom mirror and floor. The bed looked like it hadn't been changed, and there was a smell of iron in the air. I ran to the front desk, and the woman just said, "Oh, you got room 312. We've had issues with that one. No apologies. No urgency." They offered me a free drink voucher and nothing else. 23. Tech support flirted with my underage sister. We called customer service to help set up our Wi-Fi. The guy helping us over the phone started asking my 15-year-old sister personal questions. At first, we thought he was just being friendly. Then he asked if she had a boyfriend and said she sounded really cute. We hung up immediately and reported it. The company said they would look into it, and we never heard back. 24. They left my grandfather in his feces. My grandfather lived in a high-end retirement home. One night, they forgot to check on him, and he was left sitting in his own feces for hours. He pressed his emergency button, but no one came. When I visited and found out, I confronted the staff, and they said they were understaffed. No apology. Just excuses. We pulled him out immediately, but the emotional damage was done. 25. They put my number on a sex hotline. I complained about an airline losing my luggage. The rep was rude, and we had a heated exchange. A few days later, I started getting dozens of calls from strangers asking for sexy time. Someone from the customer support team had posted my number on a hookup forum out of spite. I had to change my number and deal with harassment for weeks. The airline denied any responsibility. 26. The vet that killed my cat. I took my cat in for a routine checkup. They gave him the wrong dosage of a sedative, meant for a dog twice his size. He died within minutes. They told me it was a rare reaction. I found out later from another employee they'd mixed up the charts. No one was fired. They just offered me a 20% discount on my next visit, after killing my pet. 27. Doctor laughed during my panic attack. I was at the ER for heart palpitations. I told them I thought I was dying. The doctor smirked and said, "Young people are so dramatic." I started crying, and he rolled his eyes. It turned out I was having a serious arrhythmia. When I was admitted to cardiology, the same doctor passed me in the hallway and joked, "Still alive?" I filed a formal complaint. Nothing came of it. 28. They sent a used toothbrush. I ordered a fancy electric toothbrush online. When it arrived, the box was already open. The brush had dried toothpaste crusted around the bristles. I gagged. I contacted the store, and they said, it must have been returned and repackaged by accident. They refused a refund until I sent them photo evidence. Even then, they offered only store credit. I never ordered from them again. 29. Ambulance took me to the wrong hospital. I was in a car accident and asked to be taken to the trauma center nearby. The EMTs ignored me and drove 45 minutes to a hospital out of network, just because they had a partnership with it. I ended up with a $27,000 bill and months of denied claims. When I complained, the ambulance company said, patients don't get to choose. I now always tell people, never trust where they take you. 30. They sold my belongings while I was on vacation. I rented a storage unit while moving. When I returned from vacation, everything was gone, my furniture, clothes, heirlooms. The facility had mistakenly auctioned off my unit, thinking I hadn't paid. But I had. I had the receipts. They claimed it was a system error, and offered me a $200 check. I lost $10,000 worth of stuff, including my late mother's keepsakes. Nothing they gave me could replace that. What about you, guys? Let me know your own experiences in the comments. And, of course, subscribe for more.